You're watching News Journal today, Friday. I know most of us probably are planning for the weekend, and in one or the other, we use the internet. And most of us have heard about Google. But, well, we know it. You open up your computer, your laptop. Most of us have smartphones, and you have heard or you have read the word Google. But we would like to find out, to discuss it at length, and then we shall move to Google Cloud. With me in the studios is Mr. Elijah Kitaka. Elijah Kitaka is the program's manager, East and South Africa Outreach. You're most welcome.
Thanks for hosting us.
Yes, we've heard, we've read the word Google almost anywhere or everywhere. What is Google?
That's a good question, and it's also very wide.
Yeah.
So let's take it two ways. Let's talk about Google as the company, and then let's talk about what Google is working on in this part of the world. So Google, from a Ugandan perspective, is seen as such. To many of the people that are watching you right now, they know Google for search. They think about Google when they're looking for information. And Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it relevant, make it useful and accessible. And that's where search comes in. But Google is much more than search. So Google has, over time, reinvented itself outside the space of just search. And today we're here to talk about one of such spaces, which is the offering we have under cloud computing. So that's one side of the story. In terms of what Google is working on in Uganda, or if we take it even to Africa, we are working on mainly three areas. So the first area is access.
Okay.
The second area is relevance. And then the third area is sustainability. I can speak very little about each of these three areas. So access is trying to look for solutions towards barriers to access in terms of connectivity, the price of devices, the price of connectivity. We're also looking at relevance in terms of if you have access, so if you solve the access problem, what then do you do with this access that you now have? You know, how useful is it to you? How useful is the internet to you right now? In relevance, we look at finding good content and bringing it online, right? So taking Ugandan content online. Sustainability is trying to answer the question of how can Google achieve a healthy organic growth, right? So how do we enable users to discover the wonderful products or offerings that Google has? How do we create a support structure that will give them the good confidence they need to take up these offerings that we have? And how can we build communities around that so that people can share what they learn with each other and improve whatever outcomes they would like to see improved?
Okay. Now, you talk of the new applications that are coming up or that are developing rapidly, and one of them is Google Cloud. What's Google Cloud?
So it's not quite an application. So let's talk about cloud computing in general, and then let's talk about the offering, if you don't mind. So cloud computing is this practice of using a network of remote servers to store, to manage, and to process your information. That's almost a textbook definition. In day-to-day use, if we simplify that, I would look at it as the practice of using online services as opposed to, you know, hosting your data on your local machine, on your personal PC, and installing software on your personal PC to work on that data. Now, if you look at where the internet has come from, if you think back to the 90s, if you owned a computer, you bought software, and usually it was shipped to you in a CD.
Yes.
Right? So you plugged the CD to the CD-ROM, and you installed it, and you started working with this application. It could be an accounting package, it could be spreadsheets, or whatever. Over time, that slightly changed. Right? So with the advancement of the internet, that moved to software companies realizing that, you know what, we don't need to actually ship a CD to you, because then that costs you money, and it still increases the cost for you, the user, not for me, the software producer. So then the internet-enabled companies to say that if you buy software, you can download it online and still install it on your machine and be able to use it, right? So just doing that reduced the time that it took to get the software that you bought. It reduced the cost for you because now you don't need to ship it. But then with cloud computing, another improvement kicked in. And we thought, you know, why do you even need to download software, right? Why don't you just use it on the internet itself. So if what you want is an accounting package or email services, why must you download a piece of software and install it on your machine, right? You could just use that within the internet. So that is cloud computing. Now, Google has different offerings that utilize that concept of cloud computing. The strongest that you've probably heard of is Google Apps.
Yes.
So Google Apps is this suite of productivity software, which includes word processing, which includes spreadsheets, presentation software, and collaboration, right? So as opposed to you downloading pieces of software and installing it on your computer, just go ahead and use it in the cloud. So that is where cloud computing comes in.
Okay, and then who is this product targeted at?
So it's a concept. Let's not call it too much a product unless we're talking about...
We call it more of an application?
We call it a concept.
A
so
concept.
Let's call it a concept of cloud computing.
Okay.
And perhaps we can
So who
ask,
is this concept targeted at?
I think it's targeted at all internet users because it's advancing how the internet will add value to you.
Okay.
What I would say from a business standpoint is, if you ask yourself, within your business, do you have information that you wish you had access to when you're not at your desk? If the answer is yes, then this would work for you, right?
The sound cloud concept.
The cloud computing.
The cloud computing concept.
Right.
Okay.
It would work for you. So if you don't want to be tied to one location,
Yeah.
we've moved to a world of multiple screens. People like to work on the go, off their phone. People have tablets, people have laptops, people travel a lot. So if you don't want your work to be restricted to one location and one device, then this becomes interesting for you.
Now, is this concept safe?
Yes, so...
To the users, is it safe?
Right, so you're asking about if I'm going to upload my information and work on it from a machine that is not my own, but it's a set of servers that I don't know where they're placed, is that safe? So the thing with cloud computing is that it also gives you quite a number of benefits. So let's talk about the element of security and access control. If you think about the distributed environment, so me and you are working together, you have your own computer, I've got my own computer, we're working on company data. You've got your own copy of the company data, I've got my own copy of the company data. Now I've got to enforce rules on your machine, I've also got to enforce rules on my machine and anyone else that might be working with us, right? If you take that data and create just one copy of it in this central place called the cloud, then you have one place to apply those controls, right? So that should give you really more visibility into how are people accessing my information, who is allowed to access it, when do they access it. It becomes easier to control and audit. Right.
Now, what do I need to have this concept? I'll call that. Okay, what do I need?
What do you need? So first you need the need.
Yeah, the internet, of course.
You need to realize that, okay, within my business, I've got this requirement to work on the go. I've got information that would be helpful to me if I had access to it off my desk, right? You need to have access to the internet because now this information is going to be residing in the cloud, as they call it. It's going to be online. So for you to work on it, you need to be online. From a device's point of view, you still need the normal device that you're using now, but you've got two ways to access and use this information, right? So one of the ways is through a piece of software that we call a browser. Yeah. So Google's own browser is called Chrome. And a browser allows you to access the world's information online, right? So not just what we're talking about, but generally that's how you access whatever information or resource that you'd like to access online. So once you have that, you're good to go. If you're talking about mobile, some mobile phones, as you said, many people have smartphones, including yourself. Smartphones have this nice thing called apps. Yeah. And apps are little pieces of software programs that reside on your phone, but are built to work on a specific Well, on a specific use case. Let me try to simplify that. So if you're using Google Apps, for instance, within Google Apps there is a word processor. So you're doing all your word processing online in the cloud, through the Google Cloud. You want to access your data, you want to work, you have two ways to do it. You can do that through the browser, fire up Chrome, go to google.com, log in, and work on your data. Option 2 is that you can install the Google Drive app on your phone. Now it's specialized to work with search operations, right? So it makes it easier for you, if you're using a mobile, to actually access this information and work with it. It also comes with a few more advantages. You can activate offline mode. So if you don't have connectivity, you can still continue to work. And then once you connect online, everything is synchronized, right? So the files are updated automatically. That's the beauty of like little pieces of software that then sit on your own device, but still utilize the resources of cloud computing.
And now, as we wind up, do you think Ugandans or Africans use lots of internet? Or we just go there for Facebook, checking my email, and maybe, do you think we so much use internet?
Well, the penetration, if we're going by statistics of Internet World Stats, penetration is at 15%. So that's not a big number. 15%. Right? 15% across Africa. So not just for Uganda, but across Africa. And that's not a large number. That's partly why we're here. We would like to see that number grow, right? Because there are multiple benefits of being online. I mean, access to information allows you to make better decisions, allows you to be empowered, allows you to do better business, breaks down borders,
and makes
all
you
these
more knowledgeable.
Makes you know, exactly.
You're watching News Journal, and I've been speaking to Mr. Elijah Kitaka. He's the Program Manager, East and South Africa Outreach, and we're talking about Google Cloud computing concept. Stay with us. I'll be back with business news.